Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is what people are seeing and experiencing in everyday life when it comes to being of the prepared mind. I get sent emails and pictures and videos, and if you would like to do so, my email's in the description box below. So this first email comes in from a community member, and she said, I just had an SHTF situation and using the Opus battery. I figured I would give it a bit of a review on it. Okay. She said, what happened? On June 30th, a storm hit and took out the power at about 9:30 p.m. I didn't think much about it, though it would come on a few hours later, so we went to bed with the windows open. Wasn't really bad. Next day, still no power. Then another storm comes through and rips out our electrical meter, including the wiring inside. Oh, geez. I did call the electric company and they would send someone out as soon as they can because by that time the whole town was without power. Trees down, power lines down, etc. We had small battery packs and they operated our little fans and charged up the phones. By nighttime, no word on getting power. So we got out the Opus so that could run a bigger fan at night so that we could sleep. We also put our phones on the USB part of the battery. Our bigger fan, which is a regular box fan, it ran about 11 hours. The USB ports wouldn't charge the phones. Really? Okay. So the phones had to be charged on the plug side. All right. Major problem is we had cloudy days, so we couldn't use the solar. Ah, okay. So we did the car charger. Okay, it does charge, but you have to leave your car on but not running. Oh, all right. It will run down the battery if you have it on for 8 hours. So you do have to get in the car and run it so the battery charges back up. After a couple of days later, we went out and we came back home. Most of the neighbors had power, but we didn't. Really? Note left on the door by the power company said they can replace the meter, but what the meter is attached to, the pole, they can't. We would have to get a contractor out there to fix all of it. Ah, okay. I was in a rental, so called the landlord, and he didn't know when he could get out there. I messaged my sister and told her what was up, and we stayed with her. In the meanwhile, all the meat in the freezer and deep freezer was thawing. Oh, good Lord. Couldn't can it because they shut off the gas too. Oh, jeez. Which normally they don't do, but this time they did. Also, because it ripped out the lines, it also took my neighbor's power too. So they had to wait until temporary lines could be put up by bypassing the house. On the 7th, we closed on a house we bought. Oh, now all that week I was supposed to be packing and couldn't because of no power and hotter than Hades in there. Lord. So we're all packing and moving on the 8th. It took us 3 days. The power still isn't fixed in the house. Oh my, the smell was horrendous. Oh good God, girl. Not the meat, but we get really humid here in Illinois and the carpet was getting damp and it started to sour. Oh my word. We're in the new house now with power. Oh, thank the Lord. Advice though, get quite a few of the smaller battery packs for the smaller fans to have the USB port. They're not much at Walmart. I had 10 packs. So more than that. If you're going to rely on the larger solar battery, I have the Opus. I absolutely love the Opus. It literally saved my neck last year. It really did. So she said get more than one. They're very choosy on what you're going to use it for. Fan was our major concern since it was hot. Another concern, when we went back in, I think the 4th day, mice invaded in hordes. Ew. I'm not talking a few, but maybe about 50 of them. Lord, just that quick. They chewed all the boxed food I had in the cupboards, plus ran over the canned goods in the pantry. You could see the mouse crap. Ugh. So all the boxed food need to be in plastic totes. They didn't get in those. Canned food need to be covered with something. We'd get a mouse here and there, but that was just an invasion. You couldn't have enough mouse traps. Oh, wow, that's my days of hell. Oh, my God. I'm so glad that you're in your new house. No kidding. What a disaster. I can't imagine. But I love my Opus. It saved our butts last year. It really did. And I keep mine charged and ready to go at all times. We've been having crazy wicked storms lately, so I keep mine ready at all times. I have my solar panels ready to go and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave the link to the Opus in the description box below. It is so worth it in every way you can possibly imagine. And you can either get 1 or 2 solar, of the solar things. I have 2. So worth it though. Really, truly is. Saved our butts. Yeah. So here is a email from a community member, and she said, "Hi, I decided I would call around to the stores in the area to see if they have an option to anyone to purchase produce that they cannot sell at a reduced price. I'm a believer it doesn't hurt to ask because you never know. I called Albertsons and they donate the food as they should, but I also found out that they do not donate what they do not donate goes into a bin to be sent to Portland to make biofuel." Thought that was interesting. Very interesting. Biofuel. Huh. So here's another email from a community member. She said, "We have recently contracted to be part of a solar project. My husband is retired from the power industry. I just have a few thoughts. The income from this solar project, leasing the acreage, will provide an income for my sister, 60 years old, and allow her to keep the farm that has been passed down from my grandparents to parents, then to us. We are not farmers and don't own the equipment necessary to farm 200 acres. So it allows us to diversify a little. It will also allow the ground that has been intensely crop farmed with chemical fertilizers, oh Lord, and weed sprays to rest and heal, as cover crops can be planted within that field and then grazed by farm animals to fertilize and rejuvenate the space while the panel produces power." Wow, that's interesting. "I understand the issue of the panels being in the landfill." Okay, so this is talking about my other video that I did a while ago. Okay, but how does that compare to a tornado, earthquake, or flood that destroys whole neighborhoods? Those end up in a landfill too. Yes, I know. My husband built a solar array that runs his shop. He used resold panels from a similar project and resold batteries. The big companies replace panels periodically to keep up with the latest tech and highest producing new panels, and then sell the old ones by the pallet to other users. The panels he got were practically like new at a good price and good enough for our project, likely to last many years. When the power went out last weekend, it was pretty awesome to head out to the shop for our coffee pots first thing in the morning and plug them in. It makes us more self-sufficient too. Yes, it does. Nothing's going to be perfect. I know. We all just have to do the best that we can within our resources and skills. You teach that. Yes, I do, sweetheart. Oh, she said, "Trust me. I love the convenience of my cars and electricity, and I don't have any answers, just a few thoughts. I love your thoughts. I do. You think just like me." Okay, so here is a email from a community member, and she left me a link. So she said, "I know you're Italian." Yes. "And of course use tomatoes for cooking, but this documentary is important to watch about tomatoes and lots of secrets that have been kept hush hush, and it will make you say, what?" "Italy made a deal with China, and China's produce lots of tomatoes." What? "For Italy, and they ship back the product to Italy and trick the customer into think they're getting 100% tomato product, and they're not." See, this is why I make my own sauce. Hello. Near the end of the film, the Chinese guy told the interpreter they cut costs by adding soybean starch and other product and do not put it on the label. They don't do that with California tomatoes as far as I know. My God. See, this is why I make my own from scratch, okay? Because at least I know what my sauce has in it. Thank you very much. I literally sit there with my hands and tomatoes and squish. I'm not kidding. And my son looks at me and he's like, why don't you just buy the my daughter-in-law, when she first met me, tried to make me spaghetti with sauce. And I'm like, did you make the sauce? She's like, nah, it's a jar. And I'm like, thanks. I felt bad, but I'm not going to eat it because I didn't make it. You know what I mean? I felt bad. My husband's like, just eat it. And I'm like, no. But thank you. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Thank you. And now for a commercial break. So here is a screenshot that was sent to me by a community member, and I'll read it to you before I put it up because the writing is very small, okay? It says, be on guard when you are out shopping. I was shopping at Safeway on Bernal when I was putting my groceries in the trunk when an elderly man started to tell me there was something wrong with my front tire. I took my purse off my shoulder, which was a big mistake, and I put it in the trunk and went to the front to look at my tire. He kept trying to show me something. I finally told him I did not know what he was talking about and went back to putting the rest of my groceries in the trunk. I sensed something was wrong and I looked in my purse and container that was holding all of my cards. It was gone. I panicked and looked to see if I could see the man. No luck. Went home and started calling the banks. They had already gone to the credit union ATM and took out $500. I have no idea how they got my PIN number. There was a woman behind me in the check stand that looked strange and had only one item in her hand, so I don't know if she could read when I put in my PIN. Canceled all my cards. They also bought something at the Discovery store, so that's also pending. I did a police report, went to the DMV for a replacement license. I'm worn out and I'm so upset that this sort of thing is going on. I had a lot of gift cards in there also, which was another big mistake. I am 88 and I can't believe that another elderly person would stoop so low. Just be aware of your surroundings. As always, head on a swivel, know your surroundings. It doesn't matter who you think may be looking friendly, okay? You might even know them. You don't know. They might approach you because they know what you have. You know what I'm saying? Just always be so careful. Here you go. And before I go, here is another email from a community member. She said, I hope you and your family are doing well. They are, thank you. She said, my theory is people that used to buy name brands are now buying store brands. I've heard that. I've heard that the name brands make the store brands, and then the store brands just put their store brand label on it, if that makes sense. She said, I'm buying the 10-pound bag of chicken quarters from Walmart for $6.27 instead of the chicken breast for $3.99 a pound. I'm buying Aldi stew meat, cutting it up real small, and maybe using only half for vegetable beef soup. I'm using half hamburger, half ground turkey for spaghetti and other hot dishes. The turkey from Aldi is much cheaper than the beef. Saltines are way cheaper at Aldi, good for tuna and chicken salad. I'm on disability, so I'm really pinching the pennies. I think if we all stick together, we can do this. As for shampoo and conditioner, I think people may use more than they need. The average person, not you. Oh, you mean because of this mop? She said really only needs to use the size of a dime. A lot goes to waste. When I was a kid, there were hand-me-downs. I don't think people do that nowadays. Hand-me-downs are good for play clothes, if nothing else. I think people have to change their mindset. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about making it all work. I agree with you so much. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses anymore. There's nothing wrong with family game night instead of going out and spending $100. Neighbors and friends can trade off babysitting instead of paying a sitter. On a side note, if you haven't seen The Sound of Freedom, I have not seen it yet. My parents saw it and they said everyone needs to see this movie. Sean and I intend on seeing it, but we haven't had a chance. But then again, he hasn't really had a day off either. So as soon as we get around to seeing it, we will. She said, I highly recommend it. It's about an agent in Homeland Security trying to stop the child trafficking. Yes, I know. So kind of like my husband, Homeland Security officer. All right, guys, I am out of here. Okay, I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less. Ciao.